Alrighty. Hello, everybody. I am coming to you tonight, and the reason I am going live tonight is I need to brush up on some Pesach Halacha. Gotta review some Pesach Halacha, and getting ready for Yom Tov over here. So I figured why I'm doing a review of the Halacha of Pesach and Yom Tov and getting ready and doing everything of that nature, that might as well go live and have an audience if anyone wants to join in. I'm going to be using the guide that was put out by the Badats of Crown Heights, and I'm just going to be doing a basic review of all the halacha that we need to know over the next 24, 48 hours. General halacha. Hopefully I can get myself caught up. And if you want to join in with me, I'm here and I'm going over it. I'm going over it for myself. And feel free to join in or check out the recording of this shiur. All right, so part one. This is again the guide put out by the Badats of Crown Heights. So I'm going to be scrolling through over here and checking out and whatever. Hello, Yael. How's Pesach cleaning going? I see Yael's down there. I don't know if you're still watching us. If you're still with us, say hello. Okay, alrighty. Where do we start over here? A lot of interesting halachas. Preparing with joy. Shouldn't make this whole process one big tircha. You got to enjoy the process all the way. A lot of things in that. It's very, very important. I actually went over this a lot on Shabbos. Where are we going over here? If you got new kalim, where there is no access to a mikvah, one may take a new cookware and give them as a gift to a non-Jew, and then ask the non-Jew to borrow the items. I guess this year especially, because there's a lot of issues. I know that here in Lakewood, a lot of people were going to the lake and trying to tovel in the lake, and then I heard it gets even more complicated. You have to know which area of the lake to tovel in, so that's a whole issue in its own right. The keli should be given physically, so if you want a loophole over here, I guess you take your dishes and you give them out to somebody not Jewish. The keli should be given physically with the non-Jew picking it up. However, this is not a long-term solution. This works if you need to get your dishes through Yom Tov. If you have new dishes and you need a quick solution, a quick fix for the 8 days, this could work. One should make sure not to discard of any of the dishes as long as they belong to the non-Jew. Meaning, if the unit has different parts or anything, then it's officially his, and you can't do anything with it. When toveling, once again, if possible, the item must be toveled, but without a bracha. Alternatively, this is preferable. They can be toveled with another dish that with another dish that requires a bracha. I guess so. If you want to make the bracha, there's a way of going about that. Another option many Rabbanim have set up, a shtar from Mechiras Kelim, and one could get a hold of a shtar and have the Rav sell it on his behalf. So, interesting ways if you don't have access to a kelim mikvah, which is very, very possible and very, very likely in today's day, that if you got new dishes for Pesach, you got to figure out a way. Hello, Reb Johnson. How you doing all the way down there in Texas? Thank you for joining us. Social distancing. I'm going through the guide put out by the Badats of Crown Heights and checking out the halachas myself and just seeing what's good to check out over here. So they say over here, social distancing. People should not visit others on Pesach or host guests. Yeah, I think most people already got that pretty much down. It says, during such a time, we can apply the statement from the Gemara of Rabbi Eliezer. He says, I praise the lazy ones. Who don't leave their houses over Yom Tov and fulfill the mitzvah of rejoicing with their family. So the Gemara, Rabbi Eliezer said, stay in your home, have fun with your family, and you're following a Gemara from Rabbi Eliezer. Very cool stuff. All right, Kiddush Levana, that reminds myself, if you didn't say Kiddush Levana, to check out Kiddush Levana. One should not seek others to recite Kiddush Levana during this pandemic. Again, this is a thing put out by the Badat, so, and it's relevant. They put it out especially for this year, according to the circumstances. So, checking this out over here. One should not seek others to recite Kiddush Levana with them, but should say it themselves. There is an advantage to reciting it with 3 people, and if there are 3 people in the household, it's ideal. But one should not seek others to say Kiddush Levana. Don't go knocking on your neighbor's door. In short, I can't imagine knocking on your neighbor's door during this pandemic and saying, "Hey, want to come out and say Kiddush Levana?" Yeah, you're going to be seeing stars if you do that, probably. If one can't go outside, they can stay. They can stay at indoors. Preferably, they should be by a window. So I guess Kiddush Levana your last 2 nights, because once Yom Tov hits, you're out of luck. So if you didn't do Kiddush Levana, I'm making myself a note. I got to do Kiddush Levana. Kiddush Levana applies tonight, and Kiddush Levana applies tomorrow night, and you're out of luck after that. So, what about other people around? So you don't say Shalom Aleichem. They're saying over here that based on the situation, you can do Kiddush Levana without saying Shalom Aleichem. You just you do what you do. And if there's no one to say Shalom Aleichem, you leave it out. You don't do the Shalom Aleichem whole piece. All right. Beer chametz. Since there are no public fires and it's difficult to arrange a private fire, one can burn a bit of kazayas of chametz in a chametz like a toaster or a gas charcoal grill. The custom of burning chametz possesses the power of breaking the aspect of din, severity, and silences the prosecutors. If this is difficult, it is sufficient to flush the chametz down the toilet. So, I guess Al Pi Kabbalah, looks like Al Pi Kabbalah, there's some good stuff for actually burning the chametz. Looks like that would be preferable. If you have that ability to burn your chametz, then go for it. But if that's not possible and you still want to do things, and then I guess we'll figure out a way to make a fire. I think here we're going to maybe try and put together a little fire of some sort, some nature. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes down over the next few days. Hello, everyone joining in and watching. We're going over some of the halachas of Pesach via a guide put out by the Badats of Crown Heights. I think you can find it online. If you don't have access and you want a copy of it, there's a beautiful English guide put out. It guides you through all the days of Pesach. If you want a copy and you aren't able to find it, message me on Facebook and I will send you a copy. Anyhow, going through over here the halachas, and they specifically put out with all the things to worry about in the current quarantine, Pesach and quarantine. It's a beautiful guide. How to make Pesach with all the quarantine situations, because everyone can make Pesach, but to make Pesach in quarantine, that definitely is a little bit more complicated and requires a little bit more preparation. So it's a beautiful guide that the Badats of Crown Heights put together to do this. Anyhow, where are we? Okay, so we were saying you got to do Kiddush Levana, and if you're burning your chametz on Wednesday, it would be awesome to do it. If not, you can do it. You can flush it down the toilet, but you could try even just to use a toaster. That's even better than nothing, because according to Kabbalah, it's nice to burn your chametz. Another opinion is to pour bleach or another cleaning agent over the chametz, because once it's rendered pogum, then it's like it can't be eaten, and it's not even considered chametz anymore. It's like no one's going to be eating bleach. Though, in today's day and age, we have people eating Tide Pods, so you never know how that goes down. That's special to, the 2020 generation. Anyhow, siyams. If you're a firstborn, it's a good idea to start learning now to be able to make a siyam. One can learn a short Masechta, Mishnayos, like Pirkei Avos is fine. There is this is the preferred option, but if it's not possible, one may rely on hearing a siyam over the phone. So if you are a firstborn, if you're one of those firstborns out there, and you're probably not making a siyum in the next few days because we're all crazy busy and getting ready for Pesach and all that fun stuff, then you can rely on making a siyum over the telephone. You can dial up and find out which one of your friends is making a siyum, and you're totally good to go that route, according to what they say over here. What else? It says, if you need it, do not hesitate to ask for help. Asking your friend for help is a mitzvah, and it gives the opportunity. That's true. If a person is struggling to make Pesach, I'm sure there are plenty of Jews out there who are looking to help you, even with all the social distancing and everything that's going on. A lot of people are struggling to make Pesach this year, and they mentioned that it's better to reach out than sit at home and have a terrible Yom Tiv. There'll be a lot of people willing to help you. You just gotta ask around, who can help you out. Benching Gomel. I don't think there's a lot of people benching Gomel these days because of, at least from flying, but people are coming home from the hospital from near-death experiences, and so the benching Gomel is something practical. People who experience symptoms of coronavirus do not need to bench Gomel, they say, actually, when they recover. However, if someone was in bed for 3 days straight, and certainly if admitted to the hospital due to breathing difficulties, they should bench Gomel. So just the fact that you got corona, not such a, the poskim are saying, not such a big thing to run to bench Gomel for. But if you actually got admitted to the hospital, and you actually got sick, and you're having one of those people with breathing trouble, then they're saying that benching Gomel is definitely kedai. Obviously, this is not going to happen anytime soon. At least you can plan on making it when minyanim are back in sessions, unless you're after your corona near-death experience, you want to find one of these secret borough park minyanim. They exist. On 54th and 22nd. All right. Anyhow, public events. Since public shadarim are canceled, people should make sure others have their own matzah and make sure they make their own shadarim, because definitely people are going to be stuck at home and making their own shadarim. We mentions over here Yudalf Nissen for Brengens and Shabbos Hagadol Drashas and the like. Basically are all taking place over teleconference and Zooms and all that nice stuff. And look, Facebook Live, where you're sitting here and you're watching me for some reason. So we're all reviewing and getting enjoying the nice halachas of Pesach and getting ready because it's coming up, and we're enjoying over here. And a Simchas Yom Tif. Simchas Yom Tif is achieved by wine and new clothes and sweets for Kinderlach. So there's a lot of ways to make Yom Tif exciting in your household. This year, it's a little bit more complicated. Normally, we do all the nice stuff. I just saw on Buses Nice, they were posting that in Orlando, where people usually have 40,000 Jews every year on Pesach. This year, it's just the Orlando community, but usually there's like 40,000 Jews down there, and they have this huge case of 100,000 bottles of kosher Pesach soda from Israel, like the kosher Coca-Cola Pesach stuff. They can't sell it, and they have it all sitting out waiting for the Jews to buy, but the Jews ain't coming. So usually we try and get some nice wine, try and get some nice stuff for Yom Tif, make our Yom Tif special. Especially this year, we got to make an effort to make our Yom Tif extra special when we're away from all the family and all the guests and everything. It's nice to do what you can to make Yom Tif extra special in your household, and to get a nice wine for the Arbakeses, and to have clean clothes if possible, and especially if you have Kinderlach around, to try and have some nafsh or things for them to keep them happy. If stores are closed and one can't buy new clothes, one should use other ways to show appreciation and help their spouse fulfill the mitzvah of Simchas Yom Tif. It is recommended, if possible, to order new toys for the kids for Yom Tif to help in their Simchas Yom Tif. Don't tell my kids that. Yeah. Anyhow, particularly during this difficult time, we need to focus to use every opportunity to increase in Simcha. Absolutely, we need to do what we can to bring Simcha into the world. More Simcha is absolutely necessary, and everyone needs Simcha over here. All right, haircuts. I got one. I had like the in-house barber who just took the razor and But if you get the nice haircuts, you got to find an in-house barber. There are those out there, by the way. Haman gave a good haircut, by the way. If it's not possible to receive a haircut before Yom Tif, it will have to wait until Lag BaOmer. So the Rabbanim are saying that on Lag BaOmer in Lubavitch. This is interesting. I've never seen it in Lubavitch. People got Lag BaOmer haircuts, but I guess they're saying that they're allowing it officially, I guess, this year. If Lag BaOmer is going to be a haircut day, if it's going to be back open. If the country is going to allow barbers to be open. Meos Chitim. Extra Meos Chitim should be given this year, as many people are experiencing financial difficulties during these trying times. Everyone should try in their own way, even a few dollars, to help someone out for Pesach. Additionally, there's a mitzvah to include others in our Simcha over Yom Tif, such as inviting guests. This year, we're not having so many guests probably. In our house, we are enjoying the company of a lot of my wife's siblings who all ended up here after coming in from Israel. They were planning on making their way down to Florida, but Florida kind of got a little bit too difficult to head to, so we're having a nice party here in Tom's River. Due to the difficulty in arranging this now, we should make sure to set up arrangements for them before Yom Tif. If you know someone who's having a hard time getting ready for Pesach, give them some money now. You know, what's it going to help at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Erev Pesach, you know, to go give someone some money. If you know someone struggling now, you know when someone could use the money, do it now. Do it now. The people need it, and, you know, people are rushing to get ready for Yom Tif. There's a lot going on, and every dollar counts. Donate to Chabad. Donate a big matzah. Marav is said before B'dikas Chametz. So tomorrow night is B'dikas Chametz night. Can you believe that? We're already there. It's like, you know, we're in the quarantine days, and we're experiencing all the quarantine stuff, and we're like, you know, we're going through all this exciting quarantine stuff, and it's like we don't even know. Today's Monday, today's Tuesday. You have to look on the calendar literally, because the day is just like, you know, all one big mishmash. And but tomorrow night is B'dikas Chametz. It's for real. It's really going down tomorrow night. You got to get it ready. I couldn't get into any Judaica store to buy the 10 pieces of bread. I couldn't even get it to any Judaica store. Actually, I'm going to see right now. Actually, it looks like one of the Judaica stores. It's kind of cool today. They have those, like, you know, they have one of the Judaica stores here in Tom's River. They're doing everything on WhatsApp. So if you need to order a book for Yom Tif, or if you need to order something from the store, you give them your credit card and they're doing delivery. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to actually check if they have those 10 pieces of bread, because I don't really like taking I don't like taking chametz and then it gets lost. I one time had a year where the chametz just, it ended up in the freezer, and we caught it in the middle of the Seder. So that's kind of not fun and not the good idea. So you want to get ready for tomorrow night is B'dikas Chametz. Tomorrow night's B'dikas Chametz for real. And all said and done over here. We should try and daven Marav before B'dikas Chametz. Chametz sanitizer. One should ensure soaps or other hand sanitizers don't contain alcohol. All sanitizers not coming from alcohol may be used on Pesach. If it does contain alcohol, it is not. If it is not denatured ethyl alcohol, or if it is made in North America, it may be used on Pesach. However, if nothing else is available, one may be lenient regardless, due to the current circumstances, and be careful to rinse their hands with cold water before touching food. In short, they're saying, interestingly enough, that you could have a problem with hand sanitizers. That could actually be a problem. But they're saying, if you don't want to be so super machmir on it, then just if you're using the hand sanitizer, wash your hands afterwards, because there is room to say that it is possibly, maybe, if you look at it from this aspect, hand sanitizers could be considered chametz. So yeah, basically, if you want to take the more lenient approach, you could go the more lenient way. If you want to go the more stringent way, just, you know, get rid of your hand sanitizers. It's not like we have like boxes of Purell or, you know, like boxes of masks or anything. I'm not that guy in Borough Park. 50 boxes of like 1,000, hospital masks. Yeah. So I assume that the little bit that we have, we're using. And yeah, anyhow. On to the next topic. Do I have anyone still here live? I think I'm talking to myself. But that's kind of fun. Because hopefully maybe someone's going to listen to this year tonight and review themselves on Halachas of Pesach. Next aspect over here is the Erev Tavshilin. That's a big one, the Erev Tavshilin. If a person forgets to make an Erev Tavshilin, because we're going this year, we've got a 3-day Yom Tov. It makes it all the more exciting. If you got kids in the house, it's like God's like, this is the best opportunity. I'm going to lock you into the house for 2 days, and wait, if you didn't get crazy from 2 days, you get to have a 3rd day. So yeah, this is extra exciting this year. 3-day Yom Tov, got to make an Erev Tavshilin because we're going right into Shabbos. So if a person forgot to make an Erev Tavshilin, they may rely on the Erev Tavshilin made by the Rav. In neighborhoods, Ravs are supposed to make an Erev Tavshilin, and it's supposed to have everyone in mind, and this is one way to go about it. This applies only if they forgot because they were very busy. However, if one forgets to make an Erev Tavshilin due to laziness, if you were just lazy sitting on your couch and you were watching CNN, and you didn't want to make an Erev Tavshilin, that's your problem. Halacha says if you just kind of, space it out, people are running around Erev Pesach and you're busy, you can rely on the Rav's Erev Tavshilin. Nevertheless, he can still make it. However, if one forgets to make an Erev, because of his laziness, he may not rely on the Erev Tavshilin from the Rav. Nevertheless, he can still make it with a Tanai on the first day of Pesach as follows. They take up matzah and food and recite the bracha. There's a whole process over here. I'm not going to get into it. It's a complicated subject. It's a scenario that we don't need to jump on. The bottom line is, don't forget to make an Erev Tavshilin on Wednesday, because that's the easiest route to go. And realize that we're going to be making Pesach into Shabbos. So Erev Tavshilin, don't forget the Erev Tavshilin. Don't forget the Erev Tavshilin. You can print out like a big flyer or something nice to remember and remind yourself. Don't forget Erev Tavshilin. Yeah. Anyhow. Okay. Next topic. Mikvah. Regarding mikvah on Erev Shabbos and Yom Tov and Shabbos and Yom Tov, one can take a shower because most mikvahs, they're drained. I sent it to someone as a joke. I said, hey buddy, I sent the guy who runs the mikvah. I said, hey, is the mikvah warm? He sent me back, you're not going to feel anything because there's no water in there. Anyhow, Hallel. On the first Hallel said on the night of Pesach after Maariv, throughout the entire Yom Tov. So if you're davening Maariv at home, that is if you're not going to the secret minyan on 22nd and 54th in Borough Park, if you're davening at home like most of us are on Pesach night, so remember and don't forget to say Hallel in your Maariv. There is a big thing. We do add in Hallel on Pesach night. However, regarding the Pesukim of Hodu and Anna Shem Hashiana, ideally 2 people should be present to respond. Even women or children of the age of Chinuch, then you're good. Half Hallel can also be said without a minyan. So basically, don't forget Hallel on the night of Pesach before. So you say Hallel in your Maariv, and you say Hallel actually during the Seder. So you got Hallel going on 2 times over there. 4 cups. People who are not feeling well and cannot drink wine, even plain grape juice may be used, or even plain grape juice may use coffee or tea for the 4 cups of wine. Seriously, folks, that is actually really cool. You can use, according to this, if you are not feeling well, if a person's not up to it, you can make your last cup. I mean, this is extreme leniency that you're not feeling well, and probably like the guy who has corona. But grape juice not working out wine's not working out for you, grape juice not working out for you. They're saying over here you can have a cup of coffee. Kosher Pesach coffee, of course. Don't get from Dunkin' Donuts. And you got to make sure your tea is kosher Pesach. But yeah, it's interesting. I've never heard that before. If anyone is watching, which I don't think anyone is, I think I'm totally talking to myself and recording something totally to myself. But nonetheless, guys, coffee, tea works for the 4 cups of wine if you're in a desperate spot. Maror, someone who does, interesting. Someone who lost his sense of taste shouldn't make a bracha on the maror. If they're able to taste the horseradish, they should use that for maror and make a bracha on it. So, there's a lot of things going around that that people are losing their sense of taste and sense of smell. I've heard that from a lot of people. That's kind of what's happening these days. People have lost their sense of taste and sense of smell. So they're saying over there that in that case, you shouldn't make a bracha al achilas maror if you lost your sense of taste or smell. It's an interesting halacha related to this year and the corona. If you don't have taste or smell, you don't make an al achilas maror. But if they're able to taste the horseradish, they should use that for maror and make a bracha on it. So, folks, if you're suffering from corona at home, you're not in the hospital, but you lost your sense of taste and smell. No achilas maror for this year. Interesting, very interesting. Morid Hatal. Regarding Morid Hatal, on the first day of Pesach, we start saying it by Musaf. So once you get up to Musaf, whether it's at 10 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, every family member can make an announcement that we are switching to Morid Hatal, and they could start saying it by Musaf. So we change our Shmona Esrei around, and there's no tefillas tal. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if the question is, do you say tefillas tal privately, publicly? I don't know. Do we wait till there's a minyan again to say tefillas tal? Do we not say tefillas tal? I don't know how that works, but we start saying tefillas tal. It's kind of sad not being a shul on Pesach morning, because they have this whole big thing. The chazan does this whole big thing, and it's praying for tal, which is due, is the whole spiritual thing. So that's one of the things I'm kind of bummed out about, is not being able to go to shul on Pesach morning and do tefillas tal. Yeah, that's definitely one that it's going to be kind of rough not having the minyan for, because that's a big one. You switch over, and the chazan, he does all that cool stuff. Kriyas Torah, obviously not happening over Pesach, and it should be recited every day of Pesach and Hol Moed. So it says, ideally, go from a chumash or a siddur and just read it yourself. That's it. I mean, that's the situation we're in, folks. We are in for the long haul of this. I am very, very thankful, Baruch Hashem, that we weren't stuck in this spot for Purim, because you imagine that this whole quarantine thing started a week before, and we couldn't have Megillah readings, because that would have been really rough. That would have been really, really rough. And I don't think we have anything of that nature, of that sensitivity, like Megillah readings, that we were stuck, Baruch Hashem, this year. The whole corona hit America after, I don't know what Italy was like during Purim, but in America, Baruch Hashem, we were able to have Megillah readings, and Baruch Hashem didn't have to worry about it. I don't know what Eretz Yisrael was like, but again, Baruch Hashem, it worked out this year. But obviously no Kriyas Torah is going on, and no Morid Hatal is going on, no public hallels. So again, unless you got the secret minyan in Borough Park, that's how it's going. Tehillim. In the current situation, Tehillim should be recited on Shabbos and Yom Tif, day and night. However, we must ensure this does not distract from our Simchas Yom Tif. Don't get over, there's a lot of people who need Tehillim today, and we got to say it for them. And as I'm thinking about this, I want to say a special mention. The learning tonight should be Schus or Fuah Shlema for Yehuda ben Hinda Yechevid. He should be able to have a complete recovery from the matzav that he's in. David should gebench him that he should be able to walk out of this matzav and recover completely, because we know that he really, really needs it. And I'm sure a lot of people know people who need a complete refuah shalema. A lot of stuff, of this craziness going around and around over there. Anyhow, back to halacha. I'm getting into this already over here. What else over here? from this whole situation. Bracha on trees in Nisan. One should not leave the house to look for a tree to say a bracha, but if the halacha is only if you see a person's tree in Nisan, you should say the bracha and make a bracha on it. So I guess if you see a fruit tree or something sprouting, then go for that bracha that way. And that applies for the whole Nisan, so we have a little time for that. Counting the Omer. Guys, I almost forgot about that. Don't forget about that. Omer coming up, second night of Pesach, it's Omer. So there's a lot of stuff we got to remember. We're not at shul. There's no rabbi around giving the klap on the bima. There's a lot of halacha to know over here. Erev Tavshilin, don't forget that Erev Tavshilin. And Halal, first night of Pesach. You've got Marid Hatal going on Pesach morning. And second night of Pesach, we're starting Omer. A lot to remember. Keep your brains working over here, people. A lot to remember. All right. What else we got going on? Make yourself a reminder, counting Sfiras Omer. A lot of people are counting Sfiras at quarantine, the days of their quarantine. But, yeah. All right, washing contaminated clothing on Chol HaMoed. How are we doing this, folks? Clothing that needs to be washed due to contamination concerns should be washed on Chol HaMoed. I know they're telling people if you go out in public, even anywhere, just come back, dump your clothes into the wash because the evil corona bugs, they're real. They are. They get attached to your clothes and to your nose and to your toes, and frogs here and frogs there, and the corona's jumping everywhere. So it says don't worry about it this year, folks. Dump your clothes into the washing machine, and don't worry about the Chol Moed. We gotta take different. A lot of interesting changes in halacha. This is all put out by the Bidats of Crown Heights, rabbis a little bit more holy than me and you, and they came up with all this on how to go about halacha this year for Pesach, because it definitely affects a lot of halacha and practical halacha this year. So there's a lot of changes to going about Yom Tif, and you got to be aware how to do it. So going through over here, going through the recommendations, and seeing what we got to do. All right, so Talucha, obviously, if you're a Lubavitcher and you want to go out, then in previous years you'd go and knock on other shuls and tell them all about Chassidus. No one's going on anywhere today. Just stay home. That's that hashtag. Just stay home. When Talucha is not possible, one should get the Rebbe's message out to as many people as possible over the phone before Yom Tov. Call up another Jew. If you want to spread the word of, if you want to spread the Rebbe's teachings, if you want to whatever, so then go out and call another Jew, say a good word. People like that just as much, but stay home. Just stay home. Yizkor. Obviously, Yizkor can be recited at home. Rabbi Manis Friedman, when we spoke last week on Friday, had a very interesting point. He said, the Eibishter is the one who told us to say Yizkor. He's the one who told us you got to say Yizkor. And he made it impossible this year to say Yizkor. So obviously, for some reason, right now, these neshamas don't need Yizkor. They don't need remembrance. They are naturally remembered. And maybe that's because, as he said, Mashiach is so close that they're naturally remembered. Whatever the answer is, you can watch that class the Inner of Manis did. It was very insightful, and he touched upon this about Yizkor not being not being said in shul publicly. But it does say over here that Yizkor can be said at home. So if you have a loved one that has departed, you can say Yizkor and go for that way. This year, it looks like we are going to be stuck, unless the halachas change for the last day of Pesach. It looks like that Lubavitcher's Meksudas Mashiach. You don't need a minyan. You sit down at your table. I've done it many years, and you make a Sudas Mashiach. Simcha. It's extremely important during this time to stress the importance of being b'simcha. It's the man simcha seinu. It is definitely a very good opportune time to be b'simcha. It was actually interesting. I was watching, and you can check this out. The Lord Jonathan Sachs, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, was giving an interesting class, and he was talking about how can we be b'simcha when the whole Yom Tif is based off of suffering. When they say by that, we mean that Our Zman Simchasenu comes about because of another nation suffering, another nation's downfall. And we know Hashem wasn't happy about that because we know the famous Midrash when the Yidden were by the Yam Suf that the Eibishter said to them, how are you going to sing Shira when my children are drowning? He was referring to the Egyptians, and even though they were the wicked Egyptians who flogged and tormented the Jewish nation, God said, my nation's still drowning. They're still suffering. I don't like it. I don't like the whole song business. So Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sachs has a beautiful YouTube video, and he was discussing and talking about this concept of how do we approach going forward in this time when and Biba Simcha, when this whole Yom Tov came about through suffering, and this year, But the point is that you can go listen to that shir. But the point is, you got to be B'Simcha. It's Yom Tov, and we got to be B'Simcha in the best way possible. And we're just coming out of Nisan, which is Marbin B'Simcha. And most posts can mention that during the month of Nisan, there's an obligation on Marbin B'Simcha that still applies from Adar. And certainly, a discussion of the next, to the extent of the tragedy, things that are going around, is not appropriate during this time. Shouldn't spend time around the Corona table talking around the Corona table. See where my mind is. You shouldn't spend time around the Yom Tov table talking about the coronavirus and COVID-19 and who passed away. Not a great use of time. The point is, we are supposed to take this time, utilize it for good purpose, good reasons, good things, good thoughts. As the Lubavitcher Rebbe tells us, as Chassidus tells us, think good, it will be good. That's all you need to know. You just got to think good, be good, and it's going to be great. It's really going to be good. You're going to have a beautiful, beautiful Yom Tov. Things are going to, Baruch Hashem, get better, but the world is going to be better because we're going to be entering into Mashiach. Specifically in the time of a plague, Sfarim tell us that we are not meant to publicize such information which creates a sense of panic and is counterproductive. So, people are dying, things are happening. Don't make a big storm about it. Don't share 1,000 times, this person died. I'm guilty. I did it a few times already, but they're saying over here, not a good idea. Don't go around publicizing people are dying. You see it, it happens, it is what it is. It's a tough business if you're in the news these days because, there's people passing away. And sadly, we have to inform the world of people, but you don't need to be the next news broadcaster. They're saying, as far as I'm saying, it's counterproductive. It's the man simchas teinu. It's the time of simcha. We got to be with simcha, and that's how we got to go about it. May Hashem provide for us the ultimate and true simcha, the eradication of all sickness from the face of the earth, and the coming of Mashiach now. V'nachal shein min hazvachim u'min psachim, that we should eat from the zvachim and the carbon Pesach. I'm going to pause now for a little bit and pick back up in a few moments.